Textual Analysis of El Filibusterismo, The Reign of Greed, a novel by José Rizal. So before we get started, I'd like to talk about the characters first. So Simon, the main protagonist of the story, and a rich jeweler. Donna Victorina, a ridiculously a pro-Spanish woman. Tiburcio de Espadana, husband of Donna Victorina. Paulita Gomez, a beautiful niece of Don Tiburcio. Ben Zaid, Spanish journalist who writes silly articles about Filipinos. Padre Sibilia, vice rector of UST. Padre Camora, Spanish priest of Tiani. Don Custodio, pro-Spanish Filipino holding a high position in the government. Padre Salvi, a Franciscan friar, a former cura of San Diego. Padre Irene, a kind friar who was a friend to Filipino students. Padre Florentino, a retired scholarly and patriotic Filipino priest. Isagani, nephew of Padre Florentino and lover of Paulita. Basilio, son of Sisa and a promising medical student. Quiroga, rich Chinese merchant. Captain Tiago, patron of Basilio. Cabezang Tales, father of Julie. And Julie, the father of Basilio, the lover of Basilio. So, overview. On October 1887, Rizal began writing in Calamba while practicing medicine. In 1888, Rizal made changes in the plot and revised the chapter that was already written. Rizal wrote more chapters in Paris, Madrid, and Biarritz. In March 29, 1891, Rizal finished the manuscript in Biarritz after 3 years. Revisions in Ghent. On July 5, 1891, Rizal left Brussels to Ghent, a famous university city in Belgium. The reasons on why he moved to Ghent was the cost of living was lower, the cost of printing in Ghent was cheaper than Brussels, and to escape the enticing attraction of Petit Cézanne. Rizal met two compatriots while he was in Ghent, José Alejandro from Pampanga and Edelberto Evangelista from Manila, both studying engineering in the world-famed University of Kent. Owing to his limited funds, Rizal lived in a cheap boarding house with José Alejandro as roommate. They lived frugally in Ghent for 3 months, from July to September. To economize further on their living expenses, they prepared their own breakfast. The printing of El Filibusterismo. The publisher F. Mayer van Loo Press, number 66, Vlaanderen Street, who was willing to print his book on installment basis. Rizal became desperate because of his funds were running low. So Rizal pawned his jewels in order to pay the down payment and early partial expenses during the printing of his novel. He received some money from Basa and 200 from Rodriguez Arias for the copies of Morga's Successos sold in Manila, but these funds were all used up. So in July 1891, Jose Rizal wrote a letter to Basa saying that if no money comes, he will have to stop its publication. As Rizal feared, on August 6, the printing had to be suspended because he could no longer give the necessary funds.
El Filibusterismo comes off the press. Hearing the predicament of Rizal, Valentin Ventura immediately sent the amount of money needed to finish the publication of the novel. Then, September 18, 1891, El Filibusterismo came off the press. Rizal immediately sent 2 copies to Hong Kong, one for Basa and the other to Sixto Lopez. Rizal gratefully gave the original manuscript of El Fili and with a printed copy with his autograph to Valentin Ventura. Filipino patriots praised the novel. The members of the colony of Barcelona published a tribute in La Publicidad, a Barcelona newspaper eulogizing the novel's original style, which is comparable only to the sublime Alexandre Dumas. Also known as Alexandre Dumas Pere, was a French writer. His work have been translated into many languages and he is one of the most widely read French authors. A model and precious jewel in the now decadent literature of Spain. The liberal Madrid newspaper, El Nuevo Regimen, serialized the novel in its issue of October 1891. All copies of the first edition, gent edition of El Fili, were placed in wooden boxes and shipped to Hong Kong, but sadly almost all the boxes were confiscated and all the books were lost. The books immediately became rare, and few available gent copies were sold at very high prices, reaching as high as 400 or 139 pesetas per copy. Dedication of the novel. To memory of the priest Don Mariano Gomez, 85 years old, Don Jose Burgos, 30 years old, and Don Juan Jacinto Zamora, 35 years old, executed in Bagumbayan Field on the 28th of February, 1872. To straighten the historical records, however, we must rectify Rizal's historical inaccuracies in his dedicatory note. The martyrdom of Gomburza occurred on February 7, 1872. Father Gomez was 73 years old, not 85. Father Burgos was 35 years old, not 30. And Father Zamora was 37 years old, not 35. The manuscript. The original manuscript of El Filibusterismo in Rizal's own handwriting now, preserved in the Filipiniana Division of the Bureau of Public Libraries, Manila. It had been acquired by the Philippine government from Valentin Ventura for 10,000 pesos. It consists of 279 pages of long sheets of paper. The title page of El Fili contains an inscription written by Ferdinand Blumentritt. Characters from the El Filibusterismo were drawn by Rizal from real life. Padre Florentino was Father Leoncio Lopez, Rizal's friend and priest of Calamba. Sagani was Vicente Ilustre, Batangueño friend of Rizal in Madrid. Paulito Gomez was Leonora Rivera, the girl who loved Isagani but married Juanito Pelaez. Noli and Fili compared. Noli Me Tangere is a romantic novel, work of the heart, a book of feeling. The book has Frenchness, color, humor, lightness, and wit. As 64 chapters, while El Filibusterismo is a political novel, work of the head or mind, a book of thought. The book contains bitterness, hatred, pain, violence, and sorrow, and has 38 chapters. The issue of which is the superior novel, Noli or Fili, is purely academic. Both are good novels from the point of view of history. Both depict with realistic color the actual condition of the Philippines and the Filipinos during the decadent days of Spanish rule. Both are instrumental in awakening the spirit of Filipino nationalism. Both are responsible in paving the ground for Philippine revolution that brought about downfall of Spain. El Fili is a true twin of Noli.